Some series that might have been ridiculously popular before. Right, hello everyone, I'm Hibblejaybob and welcome to the Hibblejaybob monthly news for March. So I decided that being a YouTube channel and all, it's kind of a bit dim of me to do my monthly in text only on my website. So I'm going to try making a video of it and see how we get on. I do have ulterior motives for this, which I will get onto later. It's to do with the fact that I am making a video game, so if you want to hear a little bit more about that, then stick around. Alright, so first thing we're going to talk about is the day that the news goes out. So previously I did my news over on my website on the 3rd of every month. But now what we're going to do, seeing as I'm going to be doing videos along with the news as well, I'm going to do it on the first Thursday of every month, so long as it's after the 3rd, because if it's before the 3rd, then the YouTube analytics won't actually be ready by the end of the month. So if I do it on the first Thursday of the month, so long as it's after the 3rd, I can get the video up and I can get the news up. So that's when the news is going to be done now. So it is going to move about from month to month, because obviously that Thursday is going to fall on different days. But that's when it's going to go up. The second reason for that is it's becoming quite apparent that the length of time it's taking me to make the driving standards and driving experience videos means I could do with taking one slot of that out a month. So there's going to be basically 4 Thursdays in the month. I'm going to use 1 for driving experience, 2 for driving standards, and 1 is going to be the monthly news. So that's hopefully going to take a little bit of stress out of my program, because as you know, I do more than 7 videos a week. It is ideally in the 9 range, although I think this week there's only going to be 8. But anyway, yeah, so I've got quite a high production rate as it is. I could do without any undue stress. So, on to the channel news for March. So, I apologise for kind of looking about here. I have the analytics up here on my screen, which is above me, and you're all the way down here, so you're kind of going to get a bit of an unflattering angle of me here. But if I have a quick look, and I'm not going to show you this because of reasons, but we had a bit of a mixed month on my channel. So watch time was up by 13%, but views were down by 11%. The other difference is the average view duration is up by 40 seconds, which is actually pretty substantial. So what that means on the whole is that less people in total are watching my videos, but the people that are watching my videos are watching more of them, like more of the videos. They're not just, bouncing or only sticking around for a few seconds to watch a few highlights. They are watching more of it, which is good. It seems to be like that. I've found a bit of a niche to fit into. Although I'm still exploring what I'm doing with my channel. I've got a few set pieces like on Patrol with it, LCMP, and Emergency 4 videos are becoming bigger and bigger on my channel, which is good because I enjoy them and you seem to enjoy watching them, which is great. But I'm still kind of exploring branching out in other areas, and we will get onto that later in this video. So let's celebrate some success. So the video for the month in terms of views was the Bieberfeld mod episode 2. So Bieberfeld is a mod for Emergency 4, which I started playing not all that long ago. I've taken quite a wee bit of help to get set up in it, but despite it only being out for this video is only published in like March the 20th or sometime around then. March 22nd actually. It has made the video of the month for the views. Of course it wasn't the top video in terms of views, but in terms of ones that haven't made the award page before, this is the first. So yeah, great. So on to the video of the month for likes. The most liked video of the month was my 500 subscribers special edition, where I gave you a tour of my office, which we're in just now, although We're facing the wall rather than my computer. And yeah, we went through some of the settings I use for recording on the computer. It had a good 11 likes, and as I say, that wasn't even for the whole month. The special was only out in the midpoint of the month. It was the 17th of March. And yeah, it made #1. So that's the videos of the month for likes and views. Alright, so with the video of the month out of the way, I want to remind you of the fact that you can see all of the videos that I published on the March monthly news article over on the website. If you are watching this on my website, then you just have to scroll downwards to find all the videos that I've published. And if you're watching this on YouTube but think you might have missed something, during the month, then you can check out all of the videos. The link to my website, the news article, is in the description below, or I'll put a card kind of up that way. Okay, so one thing I want to talk about quickly before moving on is what my channel goals are for the moment. YouTube seems to be kind of ebbing and flowing at the moment. I'm not 100% gaining in where I am. But obviously last month was a huge success for me, in which I got my 500 subscribers. And according to YouTube, the hardest part of starting off a YouTube channel is your first 1,000 subscribers. After you get that point, you've basically got the flow that a lot of people are watching your videos anyway because they're subscribed, and a lot more people are starting to come in. I'm at 530 subscribers at the moment, and so I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to set a goal for the channel to have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Now there's 8 months left in the year, well, slightly less than 8 because we're a fraction of the way through April already. But I would need to get 58 subscribers a month to be able to reach that target before December the 31st. And at the moment in March, I have slightly dropped back a bit now, but in March we gained 55 subscribers, so it's not out of the realms of possibility that that could happen. So on social media I'm going to be doing a lot of pushing to try and get some more subscribers in, and hopefully we can meet that target. Of course, it's not all just about subscribers. I'm also trying to improve the number of people watching the videos. Views, like I say, have dropped by 10%, which is actually quite a lot in March. So the target I'm trying to work for at the moment is 500 views per day. We're slightly below that, although I have been above it for, I think February was a good month because we were well above the 500 views, but we've kind of dropped back a bit at the moment. But I want to pick that up, and I want to be consistently hitting that. So hopefully I can be doing that sometime soon. So we've talked about channel goals and videos so far. I want to talk about the fact that Q1 has finished now, which means the voting for the quarter has finished. Now, if you remember, I started offering votes for what my viewers want to see on my channel back in January, and I did it over 1 month, but that was kind of, I don't want to keep harassing people to vote for it, you know, every single month. So I decided to make it 3 monthly or quarterly. So I've combined the results of basically January and then February, March into one. And I've also made some slight changes to how the voting kind of works. Because if you saw the article back in January time about the results, votes alone are quite a bad indicator because well, I'll get onto that later, on their own. So it's important to have other kind of qualifying criteria. So I had things, basically I had a system of points, and the points were equal to the number of votes plus the number of likes per video, and then the number of views per video divided by 10. And that was the old system. Purely for the sake of curiosity, combined a little bit with some of the things that I learned at the YouTube Creator Day, I decided to expand upon that system a little bit. So there's 2 extra elements now. Now the first element is interaction. So if you're a YouTuber yourself, you'll notice, perhaps confusingly, you might find that if you have less dislikes than you had in the month previous, that shows as a red arrow, not a green arrow. And the reason for that is because dislikes, I mean, automatically it sounds negative, but it's considered as interaction, and likes, dislikes, comments, and shares are all considered to be interactions, which is positive in the eyes of YouTube. So I've added another element, which is basically a combination of likes, dislikes, comments, and shares, and that has less of a weight than likes, because likes is likes per video. This is interactions per video divided by 2. So there's that element as well. And the other one which I wanted to expand upon, especially since I'm wanting to consider bringing more people into the channel, is what series get the most subscribers. So that is added on wholesale to the targets. That being said, the biggest change by far is not that calculation. The biggest change is how I measure these. So previously it was over the lifetime of the channel or the lifetime of the series, because, you know, a lot of series I've started fairly recently, but now I'm only doing it over the time period of the months that the voting applies to. And the reason for that is some series that might have been ridiculously popular before have just kind of dropped off the face of the map, and if I consider it over the whole lifetime, then I might be making videos that nobody's really watching. So I don't want to put all of my effort into something that people aren't actually going to watch. So it's quite important to, you know, realise that, you know, what people are watching on YouTube is very dynamic, and hopefully I have taken that into consideration now by considering the watch time, views, likes, dislikes, interactions over a shorter time period than the lifetime of the series. So I can be presenting content to you that, one, that you want to see, and two, that people are in general still watching. Because it does take a lot of work to make some of these videos and get them online, particularly where I stay, where the internet's not good. Yeah, it's very important to be making videos that people actually want to see. So, with that out the way, let's have a look at the results for the Q1 of 2016 vote. So, it's going to be on screen at the moment. So, as you can see, Emergency 4 with the London mod was a whopping whopping success with over 83 points. I decided to cut it down from the thing so we could get a better look at the rest of the graph. And before I move on, one thing I want to draw your attention to that is a huge difference from the previous method of calculating it over the lifetime of the thing, over the lifetime of the series, was that the emergency services in Scotland series got 120 points in the first round of voting, because of the fact it was considered over its lifetime, whereas now it's only been considered over 3 months as opposed to its lifetime. We can see that it's actually down at the kind of 35 points range, which is obviously a lot lower than the 120 that it was before. Still very high, so it's still one of the best that I offer. But yeah, it does show exactly what I was saying before, with the fact that, you know, people are watching different, what people are watching on YouTube is constantly changing. So yeah, anyway, moving on. Emergency 4 in total. The reason I included this column here was because I wanted to just kind of see what everything cobbled together was for Emergency 4. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start kind of maneuvering around various mods. So I'm going to have some constants, like Emergency 4 with the London mod is definitely going to be a weekly staple, as is Emergency 4 with the Kent mod. Emergency 4 with the Bieberfeld mod's a recent addition to the lineup for Emergency 4 videos on my channel. However, frankly, I really enjoy playing it, so it's going to be a staple as well. And we have Emergency 4 with the Netherlands mod, which is quite far down the list, but there's plenty of mods out there. So rather than making a constant feature for the Netherlands mod, I'm going to basically have a slot where I just go from mod to mod, testing it out, coming back to the ones that I enjoy, and just, you know, taking a tour of the various mods in Emergency 4. At the end of the day, when this channel started, one of the things that I wanted to do was kind of show off various mods. Although I don't really do reviews much anymore, I still want to do that. I still want to take a tour and look at people's work from all around the world, which I think could be interesting. Yeah. Emergency Services in Scotland is in 4th place. That series is still going to continue, which is good. Rodina's a very interesting one because it's 3rd from the top in terms of views alone, and 5th from the top in total. Despite the fact that people are quite enjoying watching it, which is great, I'm not going to work that into the series because it's still in development and I've not seen too many updates to the story. So what I don't want to do is have to do a playthrough for every single time there's the slightest increment to the story. I do want to play it again, that much is for sure. And I do want to record it again, but I want to wait until the story has progressed substantially, so that I've actually got something to show for it and I'm not just replaying all the videos that I did before. Moving on, we've got Flight Simulation, which is proving quite popular, especially in terms of votes. There's lots of votes for that, so I am looking to branch out into my Flight Simulation a little bit more. I want to get back into IL2 videos as well, so this isn't just FSX videos. But in terms of FSX, all the videos so far have been with the Twin Otter. I do want to branch out a little bit, but I need to get a little bit more add-ons in that's going to make things easier, particularly for recording and the presentation of the recording, most importantly. But yes, that is going to continue on Sundays, which is Simday, so that's going to be a mixture of flight simulation, real simulation, and more. So the next one down is GTA 5 videos and clips. This is definitely the #1 category in terms of votes. However, as much as I love GTA 5, I don't think LSPDFR is in a great position. Like, I don't enjoy playing it, not nearly the same level as I do LCPDFR. So what I'm hoping to do, I'm hoping to kind of build up a mods base and start getting things kind of customized to my liking, so that whenever there is substantial updates to LSPDFR, then I can get back into making videos for it. So despite it being quite high up this list, I'm not going to be making it a regular series because of that. On Patrol with the LCMP is just below it, and I do really enjoy making that, so it's going to have its own day. Real Simulation we've already talked about, that's already going to be included in Simday Sunday. I do have other real simulations other than Train Simulator on the way, and I am hoping that you enjoy those. It's interesting, it's not probably what you would expect, but I'll leave that to surprise when it comes. Kerbal Space Program has just been started on the channel. I've done a few videos, as I said. In the videos, I am an astrophysicist, I have a master's degree in astrophysics, and I thought it would be fun to try out Kerbal Space Program, where surprisingly it turns out that I suck balls. But anyway, this isn't going to have its weekly, it's not going to have a weekly slot, but it is going to make an appearance each month. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Driving standards and driving experience, we talked about that earlier in the video. They're still going to be on a Thursday, and we're going to do 2 driving standards videos a month, maybe 3 depending on how many Thursdays I can hit, and 1 driving experience video. Autobahn Police Simulator was something that kind of surprised me a little. As you can see, it's right in the midpoint of the graph here. And it surprised me because when the videos were published, they did not do well at all. Not many people watched them. So yeah, I've discontinued it for the moment. I don't think it'll be coming back anytime soon. Honestly, the gameplay wasn't that spectacular that I would want to jump back into it. We've talked about Emergency 4 with the Netherlands mod. FTL, as you can see, there was quite a lot of votes for FTL in the grand scheme of things. 10 in total, which is more than some categories. However, as you can tell by the fact that the points for views was 1.95, so given that there was only 2 videos considered, you times that by 20. That's literally, what, 40 views? Which is bad. That's really bad. I was very surprised when that went out that there was so little attention for it, especially with relatively many votes for it. So that was a series that was quite a failure. So that definitely won't be coming back. Another failure, which again I was kind of a bit upset about this because I had high hopes for this series, was the Delta Force series, which again, after so many videos, and it's only got 1.93 points for the views, it's bad, it's very bad. So that won't be coming up. So we're now out of the terms of content that we see quite regularly. I'm going to talk about a few things. Airport Simulator, there's been a few votes for it, and views have started to pick up a little bit on it. So what I might consider trialing it, seeing if there is still interest in seeing it, and then I can maybe work that into Sundays if people do want to see it. I'm looking to get back into Silent Hunter 4. The videos were pretty poorly received when I first published them, but they've actually picked up quite a lot of traction since then. In fact, one of the Silent Hunter videos is now on my overall top 10 list, which surprised me quite a lot. In terms of content that's not seen on the channel anymore, we've got Space Engineers, 7 Days to Die, and Northland. Originally, when I did the voting thing, it was supposed to be the highest voted of content that hasn't been seen on the channel before would get the overall placement on the channel. Rather than giving any of them a full day to themselves, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them all a shot. And I'm going to present a few episodes of the way that I would like to present the series. And if they take off, then great, then I will continue them. And if not, then I'll consign it to memory. One thing that might surprise a few people, and I don't know if this is a smart decision yet. I have all the footage for it, so it's not too big of a deal. But best of the LCMP at the bottom with literally less than 4 points. I'm going to try and revive that series to do something with it. I have a slightly different way of presenting it. I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to try and relaunch it and see how it's received. I'm actually quite hopeful for this because it's going to involve quite a big team of people, and I hope I can improve the presentation enough that it's going to be something that people really enjoy, about the same level as On Patrol with the LCMP. I'm basically going to try and do it in the same style as you would see a lot of police programs in TV shows in real life. Right now that the voting for the first quarter of 2016 has been discussed, it's time to declare the new schedule. So it's going to be largely the same, but there are going to be a few differences. So we'll start the week with Tuesday, which is going to be 2 videos. We're going to have Emergency 4 with a London mod in the early slot. And in the afternoon slot, we're going to be having Emergency 4 with a new mod. Next Tuesday it will be now. We're going to do the Netherlands mod, going to move on to the Copenhagen mod, and then we'll see where else the various mods I've downloaded will take us. Wednesday in the early slot, we're going to have Emergency 4 with the Kent mods. So that's unchanged. And then in the later slot on Wednesday, we're going to have Emergency 4 with the Bieberfeld mod. On Thursday, we have our driving and news videos, which we've talked about. First Thursday of the month is going to be the monthly news, then it's going to be a driving standards video followed by driving experience, and then back to driving standards, and depending on how many days are available, there may be another driving standard before the news hits us the month after. Friday is going to continue to be On Patrol with the LCMP, which is my fictional police force for GTA 4. We're going to continue doing patrol videos with that. Moving on, Saturday and Sunday are unchanged. So Saturday we have the Emergency Services in Scotland series. And Sunday we have Simday, which is at the moment consisting of Flight Simulation, which is FSX and IL2, Rail Simulation, which is Train Simulator 2016, and a new simulation that is well, it's not particularly new, but it's new for the channel, that's going to be making an appearance this weekend. And then Monday, I'm going to leave that as an open day. So that's going to consist of Kerbal Space Program, Space Engineers, Northland, and the occasional GTA 5 video. So that's how the schedule's going to shape up for quarter 2, and that's going to start as soon as I can get enough footage for it, which at the moment, because there hasn't been that much changes, it means I should be digging into this new schedule pretty quickly. Right, okay, now that that's been discussed, it's time to move on to talk about the other reason that I'm doing this as a vlog and not just a text article, which is to talk about my game. So, I did put a rather kind of vague Facebook post up a couple of months ago, in which I showed the central mechanic of the game is now working. And it was actually well received. It was one of the biggest Facebook posts on my page. And then when I brought it up at the YouTube Creators Convention, there was actually quite a bit of interest in it, which I was quite surprised at. So the other thing that we learned in the Creators Day was to really work on setting yourself long-term goals so you can kind of see where you're going. So I thought about it, and I figured if I do monthly progress videos, it's a good chance for me to review and for you to see where the progress has been made this month and where it is going to be made next month, hopefully. So I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about what the game is. I'm going to talk about what progress has been made recently and what progress I'm hoping to make this month. So, the game, it started out as a mod idea for Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls V, in which it placed the player into an environment with a semi-realistic dynamic economy. The motivation for it was that I play an alchemist in Skyrim, and it's quite easy to get a bunch of potions, sell them for millions, wait 3 days for the merchants to reset, and then sell even more of it for even more money, and then you end up with like a ridiculous amount of money. And yeah, it's just ridiculous. So what I initially wanted was a setup in which you could sell a bunch of potions, but then because there's so many potions in the economy, the price of potions plummets. And that way you can't just spam the market, as it's very easy to do in Skyrim. And so I kind of thought about that and thought about applying it, and then I started trying to figure out how I could interact the mod with other areas of gameplay, so like the Skyrim Civil War. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, and eventually there was enough information where I could take it to being an independent game in its own right, as opposed to a mod for Skyrim. And so that's kind of where it's at the moment. So the basic description of the game is that you are a merchant. You're a merchant in a world which has dynamic wars and dynamic economies. And the idea of it is there is a number of kingdoms, and each kingdom has several states. So basically it's quite akin to the nations of Tamriel in Skyrim. So you would effectively have the Nords in Skyrim, you'd have the Imperials in Cyrodiil, and that kind of thing. So you've got a number of kingdoms or nations, and each kingdom has a number of cities and areas, all with different economies, different pluses and minuses, and blah blah blah. And the idea is that it's kind of like real-time strategy, but the player is behind the scenes of it. So the combat is all done by kind of AI method, and your job is to kind of make sure that one, you're making money, and two, that you're doing jobs for the nation that you choose to start with, so that the government, effectively the army, can have the best possible financing for the best equipment, the best armor, the best potions, all that kind of thing. So when the time does come for them to have a fight with another kingdom, that you win, or if you don't win, you can heal yourself back up. And it's kind of like that. And the overall goal of the game is basically for your kingdom to win, and you're just basically constantly in the background pulling at the strings, trying to make that happen, which I think is quite an interesting take on it, and I hope that the game turns out like that. So that's the overall concept of the game. As more and more features get developed, I'll start talking about them a bit more in detail. At the moment, the core mechanic works, which is trading. Obviously, if your game is about trade, it's very important to have the trading working, and it now does work. It took about 2 months of work to get it all together. So, in terms of progress that has been made, there hasn't been much that has been made. The reason for that is there was a few stages, basically the last attachments to Skyrim, because a lot of the mod and a lot of the early game was developed in terms of, you know, stuff very specific to the Elder Scrolls universe, and all that's now going to need to be taken out. So really, this month there wasn't any progress in terms of actual construction of the simulator, but there was a lot of brainstorming and ideas in terms of how the world is going to look to the player, how the world is going to be formed. There is going to be world generation, so that every time you start a new game, it is going to be a lot different from before. So basically what I wanted to have was a number of, you know, holds, and a hold consists of a central town, 2 villages, and then other features, so stuff like forest, farms, blah blah blah, all that kind of thing. And they're going to be constant. There's going to be about 50 to 60 holds in the game. I'm not quite sure yet. Split between 10 or 12 kingdom again. I'm not quite decided yet. And each kingdom is going to be generated randomly. So there's going to be effectively 100 locations that are going to be mishmashed in a world generation kind of sense. That might be expanded upon in the future, but that's just what's starting just now. So that means that the player is going to have a different environment every time they start, which should hopefully help replayability. And really trying to work out the dynamics of how that's going to work has been the thing that's held me back the most in terms of developing going ahead. So now that that's all been worked out, just realised I've lost the light. Okay, so now that that's all been worked out, I actually, before I can start writing the code going forward, I actually need to take a lot of it out. So what I've kind of been doing is very, very bad practice in coding, which is hard coding it. So in terms of minor, a minor was the first profession. I kind of hard coded the materials as the ores that you could get in Skyrim, which is a problem now that I need to cut out all the Skyrim content. Rather than just changing a few files, I actually need to go back into the code and change all of that, which is a bit of a problem. So I thought long and hard about about how I could make it modular, so that I had the ability to you know, load all the information I needed from a file and not have it hard coded. And I think I've got a good way of doing that, which now means I can start coding again, which is good. So what's going to happen for this month hopefully is going to be 2 things. It might spread into next month depending on how time constrained I am. We're going to have world generation. That's going to be the biggest change in coding, because I need to first of all get all the files ready that determines how the world is going to be laid out, and then I need a generation process to get all of the tiles put together, so it's not just a set of tiles, it is actually a full world. And also the world needs to be populated by people, and I've decided that's going to be purely randomized. So yeah, so it's going to be like different names and things. So I need to come up with a list of names and then get that into the simulation. Then I need to work on being able to modularize the kind of professions, so that I don't have to worry about hard coding issues like we're currently experiencing. That should hopefully be relatively quick. That is just going to be a case of using the existing file load features, add in a few more variables to accommodate for them, and then changing the files, which at the moment there isn't very many of. So yeah, that shouldn't be too hard, which is good. The other thing I want to work on, the final thing that I want to work on in a short-term basis, is the GUI. If you did see the post on my Facebook page, you will know that the GUI is currently non-existent. The game runs in command prompt only. So yeah, one thing I want to do is work on having a GUI, not so much for the gameplay side of things, but actually it's going to be very, very beneficial in world generation, because if I do the GUI, it depends on how easy it is to do, like how easy it is to get set up. I want to make an editor effectively, so that rather than having to write the files in text only, which would be very hard to visualize how it all pans out, I can do it visually, so it's nice and easy, and then export to a text file so we can import it into the simulated world that the player is going to be playing in. So that's going to be the short-term basis for the project. I don't have a working title yet for the game. I think actually in the program it's still listed as a Skyrim economy mod, so that all still needs to be changed as well. A few miscellaneous bits and bobs like that. But yes, if you have any questions or interest in the process of development, be sure to let me know. You can find out updates here on YouTube, on my Facebook page, which all this is in the description, and I will, once I start having a little bit more tangible to show, I will be putting it on my website as well. So that's it, everybody. With the sun now setting, that is the end of the Hibblejaybob monthly news for March. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, the voting has now reset because we're into Q2. So if you have an opinion on what you want to see, you can let me know by voting in the link below, or just follow the links on my website. Have a little look around, because that would mean a lot to me. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and its videos to see more. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!